Hey guys, this is Jim from NoBSing.us. I'm here with JT Beirne and we're doing a quick interview. What the interview is going to be about is actually a theory that Malcolm Gladwell talks about in his book Outliers. In a nutshell, Outliers is about the amount of time it takes to master any art, whether it's piano playing, martial arts, football, or baseball. What Gladwell speaks about in the book is that it essentially takes 10,000 hours of repetitive practice to master the art. So that's what JT is doing here with me. JT's 13 years old and he's been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a long time. So essentially what happens is when he gets to that 10,000 hour mark, he'll probably be at world-class level in Jiu-Jitsu. So I'm going to turn the camera over to JT and see how he's doing today. JT, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good. So you're, like I said before, you're how old?
I'm 13.
And how long have you been training Jiu-Jitsu for?
I've been training for around 5 years, since I was 8.
All right, so was Jiu-Jitsu the only art that you started at 8, or you've been training exclusively in Jiu-Jitsu since you were 8 years old?
No, when I first started, I was doing MMA, kickboxing, and Jiu-Jitsu, but later on I just kind of went to Jiu-Jitsu only.
And I train here with you at Chicago BJJ. You do a lot of competition. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? About how many tournaments do you think you've done?
Around 60 tournaments, and I probably won like around half of them.
So 60 tournaments in since you told me before the interview you started competing about a year after training?
Yeah, it took me around a year to start actually competing in tournaments and traveling.
So you're averaging over 10 tournaments a year, would you say?
Yeah, around that. Every month I usually do a different tournament.
Okay, so between 10 to 12 tournaments in a year. What's the farthest you've gone for a competition?
The farthest I gone was Delaware, but in February I'm planning on going to California for the Pan Ams.
Okay, that's the gi Pan Ams, correct? Or they do both the gi and the no gi on that weekend?
Well, for the kids they do both gi and no gi.
So you win that tournament, that's a major competition. I mean, the Naga tournaments are huge, but the Pan Am and the Mundials are the biggest. How old do you have to be to compete in the Mundials?
I'm pretty sure you have to be a blue belt, which is 16 years old.
Okay, so only about another 3 years for you. What are your goals as far as Jiu-Jitsu? Do you plan on staying with Jiu-Jitsu?
I plan on staying with Jiu-Jitsu until I'm older and until I'm a world champ, but I eventually plan on going to MMA and to bigger organizations like the UFC.
Okay, well, normally you would hear a kid like JT say something like that and you might dismiss it, but if you read Gladwell's book, you'll know that JT, I'm guessing if he started training at around, you said 8? So maybe by the time he's 15 or 20, he should hit that 10,000 hour mark. So it's not improbable to think that he could win a world championship and ultimately make it into the UFC. We're also going to there's 2 other guys that I know personally that are similar to JT's background. That's Chris Wing, that's profiled a lot on the website, and Pat Sabatini. Pat Sabatini's an amateur fighter. He's tearing up the amateur circuit now. They, like JT, started training when they were very young. Chris Wing started training at 5. I believe Sabatini started training when he was 7 or 8. And then, of course, we got JT over here who started training at 8 years as well. So they all fit the profile for the theory that Gladwell talks about in his book in Outliers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the mic over to you, JT. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, well, I want to thank Kevin Mulhall for training my Muay Thai and eventually leading me to Jucao, where I train now, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And thanks to Paulo for teaching me when Jucao's not here. And that's it.
All right, this is Jim from NoBSing.us. Good night and good luck. Thanks, JT.